Brisbane's Olympic boom is coming. Brisbane is going to be hosting the 2032 Summer Olympic Games. And in this video, we're going to be discussing 5 key projects that are going to transform Brisbane and impact its property market. Now, my name's Luke. I talk all things real estate, renovating, and financial freedom on the channel. If you're interested in working with myself as a Brisbane-based buyer's agent, head over to purposeproperty.com.au. So there are a lot of exciting projects going on in Brisbane and the greater Brisbane area with the Olympic Games coming up. And the local government, state government, and federal government are funding some massive projects here in the Southeast Queensland market to fast track these projects towards the Olympic Games. Now, the first massive project that's going to transform the cultural space here in Brisbane is the Roma Live Precinct. This project is going to be built on top of the Roma Street train station, right next to the Roma Street Parklands. It's a $2 billion project that's only a short walking distance from the city centre. The project includes a 17,000-seat arena, a 4,000-person amphitheatre, a cinema, bars, shops, and additions to the parklands. Now, the big thing for me is that Brisbane Live is going to transform the cultural and the performance space here in Southeast Queensland. To have a 17,000-seat arena that's set up specifically for concerts and can have that vibrant space where everyone can cram in and get excited for a show is a great thing for us to have here in Brisbane. It's also walking distance from a lot of suburbs on the north side of Brisbane. In particular, you have Red Hill, Kelvin Grove, Paddington and Milton that are really going to benefit by being able to walk to these parklands and walk to this new development close to the CBD. Now, an even bigger showground development that's going on here in Brisbane is the Gabba redevelopment, coupled with the Cross River Rail. Now, the Gabba is a historic cricket ground here in Brisbane, and it's going to be renovated and upgraded to host the opening and closing ceremonies of the Olympic Games. The current proposed upgrades include a new main entrance, new seating, and a new retractable roof. The other great thing about the Gabba redevelopment is the Cross River Rail. This is the train network that runs under Brisbane CBD and connects key suburbs across Brisbane. And this will allow a lot more people to attend events at the Gabba Stadium once the Cross River Rail is complete. There are also plans to do a new aquatic centre. Now, the Chandler Swimming Centre on the south side of Brisbane has been known as a great sporting facility over the last 20 years. But there are also plans to build a new aquatic centre at Chandler, including a 50-metre swimming pool. They're also looking to add a diving pool and a water polo pool for the Olympic Games. A lot of schools also use these facilities for their school races and their activities. And Chandler has also been used for metro, state, and national swimming meets. I actually used to be a swimmer myself, so I've swum at the Sleeman Sports Complex plenty of times here in Chandler on the south side of Brisbane. And to upgrade those facilities near Chandler can be a great thing for sport here in Southeast Queensland. The next big project on the list is the Olympic Village. Now, athletes coming to stay here in Brisbane for the 2032 Games need somewhere to stay, and so they're planning on doing a Olympic Village development. The plan is to build on the banks of Hamilton here in Brisbane, right near the river. The apartments would house more than 10,000 athletes during the Olympic Games, and then potentially be added to rental stock in the market once the Games are completed. Now, this is a good thing because they're continuing to develop these areas. The higher density means that more people will get access to these apartments once the Games are completed. And so these projects are great because they house athletes during the Games and then leave space for renters or owners to move in once the Games are completed. Now, the fifth and final project is a massive development here in Southeast Queensland. And it's not specifically related to the Olympic Games like the first 4 are. The first 4 in the Brisbane Live project, the Gabba redevelopment, the Aquatic Centre, and the Olympic Village are all very game specific. But project number 5 is the Queen's Wharf project. Now, this is more of an entertainment and accommodation space rather than being a very game-specific project. The Queen's Wharf project is scheduled to open in April 2024. The mega project is the largest development here in Queensland and will house the largest casino in Australia. There's also going to be 3 hotels, plenty of restaurants, and thousands of apartments for sale and for accommodation in terms of a hotel space. There's expected to be over $3 billion of capital invested into the project. And it's not only going to bring jobs in the next few years, but it's also going to provide more sustainable jobs in terms of the hospitality industry going forward as the towers are completed and opened. The project is going to attract both local and overseas tourists who want to enjoy the hotels, the cinemas, the parklands, and the restaurants and the casino. And the Queen's Wharf project is expected to be a focal point for Brisbane going forward as a main tourist attraction. The big thing is that Brisbane is waking up and no longer being that sleepy country town. Brisbane is really going to be put on the map by 2032. And whether you're an owner-occupier or an investor, you need to look at how this is going to impact your property or your potential property investments here in the Southeast Queensland market. The big thing is all these projects and all this development is funds coming into the Southeast Queensland market. This creates jobs not only in the short term during the construction phase, but also afterwards as these facilities are opened up. Whether it's the showgrounds, the GABA, the hotels, the casinos, there are all jobs created here. This is going to continue to drive demand into the Southeast Queensland market, to be close to the Olympic Games and to have access to these facilities going forward. So when it comes to an investment opportunity, you need to look at the supply and demand of an area. I personally like to buy in established areas that are landlocked and have been built up at least over 20 years. I think some areas around the Wollongabba precinct, for example, or around the Brisbane Live will benefit more than other suburbs further out here in Southeast Queensland. Properties that have access to lifestyle opportunities, better schooling, better transport, have higher paid jobs in higher socioeconomic areas. That's where we could see a big run up in Brisbane prices because Brisbane is currently more relatively affordable compared to those Sydney and Melbourne markets. So by 2030 or 2032, Brisbane prices could be similar to Sydney in the 2015 to 2020 period. Brisbane is essentially 10 to 15 years behind its big brothers in Sydney and Melbourne. So we'll have to wait and see what happens in terms of property prices. But if you're interested in working with myself as a Brisbane-based buyer's agent looking to buy here in Southeast Queensland, head over to purposeproperty.com.au and we can chat about your specific situation and what you're looking to achieve if you're planning on buying in the Southeast Queensland market sometime soon. If you want to see a video on the best Brisbane suburbs for 2023, click this video over here. Thanks for sticking around. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.